Alright, so I just got the Nissan Leaf. I'm driving it for the first time. It's really, really quiet. I'm looking for the 405 North, so I'm going to try not to crash here. Pretty simple to use. Turn it on, go. It's actually a little bit disconcerting when you first get in the car, of course, because I'm so used to driving a vehicle that has not only a stick shift, but an engine. An actual running motor oil issued engine. Gas combustion. It's pretty responsive. I like it. I like it a lot. I'm not too sure about the stylings of the car overall, but I think that sort of like comes with the territory in terms of getting an EV. It's got to look particular. It's got to, you know, garner some notice from people. Otherwise, it's not any different than every other car on the road. The braking is actually surprisingly responsive. Kind of wondering whether or not I'm going to garner any looks from people as I'm driving around. I don't know if it's that notable to a car. The biggest remark everybody has is they get in the car and they ask if it's actually turned on, and even people that have been in the car before can't believe that it's on, even though I tell them that it is. It's when you actually set it in motion, you get a little bit of noise, but for the most part, there's nothing. Reversing, the car beeps, so people can actually hear you. Otherwise, they'd probably just get run over and think that nothing hit them. Something like that. Top of all these gauges, there is a power gauge. The power gauge is a representation of how hard you're stepping on the pedal, the accelerometer. So stepping it hard, and it shoots up. Brake, and it goes the opposite direction. In the opposite direction, there you can see there's a recycling symbol. It's indicating that you're actually capturing energy at that point, so you're getting back some of the stuff that you actually lost. I'm going to play you some stats that the car has on how eco I am. Listen in.
You accumulated 2.6 eco trees.
There's those things. Top left.
For February 4th,
whoa, how did I get
your
so
global
close?
daily eco tree ranking was 54th. The first place driver was in the United States.
That's not even the interesting one. The next one is interesting.
As of February 6th, 7,350 eco trees have been accumulated, and 26 tons of carbon dioxide from tailpipe emissions have been avoided by the world population of Nissan electric cars.
Booyah! How you like them apples, huh? That's pretty cool. I'm digging it. Just think when they have more of these things on the road, and this is all done over a network, and you download the information, or you hit a button, you download the information, and it tells you this instantaneously. Well, instantaneously with respect to how long it takes to download. But nonetheless, it gives you motivation to try harder. It makes it all a game. I guess it's that whole game theory. And the trees, growing the trees is part of that. I'm into it. Hey guys, Chris from Gadget Review again. So today is the last day I'm going to have the Nissan Leaf. I'm going to do a quick walkthrough, show you guys some of the features, and that will be it. Alright, so let me take you through some of the features. So you got the key, it's wireless, you can just pop it anywhere. In the interior of the car, I think we covered some of the stuff. You got sort of your typical controls over here in the door. You close the door, make it a little bit quieter. Power button. Starts the car. There's nothing you really need to do. You hit it once. I think you got to have your foot on the brake to get it all the way started, otherwise it just starts the ignition. You've got full controls in the steering wheel for your audio, phone calls, you've got cruise control. These controls over here I actually didn't like. These control stuff that go on the HUD in here, which is currently turned off, but it's not intuitive. You know, they're not in a D-pad-like manner, so you can scroll through stuff, but it's a trip computer, amongst other things, not that important. In the center, you've got a touch screen. It can be adjusted instantaneously. You hit this button between, if you're driving at night or day, it will adjust the brightness accordingly, as you can probably see. Over here is an open tilt button function. Hidden beneath it is a CD player. If you hold that button down, it will actually angle the screen accordingly. FM, AM, XM, CD aux will actually cycle you through the CD, through the auxiliary input, Bluetooth, and I think that's it. Volume button, very straightforward, but I actually would have preferred a knob. It's kind of a pain in the ass. We have to push this multiple times to get it turned up or turned down. Power button. You've also got an eco button. The eco button brings you in. This is probably the more interesting stuff. This will show you your driving range, nearby charge stations, updating. You can update the stations. Now, I thought this was a little bit weird that you had to update the stations. You would think that it would be progressively pushing the station locations to the car, but for some reason it doesn't. Energy info shows you what the electric motor is using at the time of your driving, climate control, how much power that will suck, and other systems as well. Your driving range is also displayed on the top. You've got your energy economy, so everything's broken down by miles per kilowatt hour. You can show the history that you've been, like how you've been traveling in terms of your efficiency. Very straightforward stuff. There's other things you can do. You can also sync it up with your iPhone such that it grabs the credibility, pulls down the energy credibility that you're producing. So they do everything in kind of eco trees, and it turns it into a game. You can actually pull that information off of this system as well. You can connect to it and you can request it. What else we got? You got all your controls for your climate control, rear defrost, temperature, auto, on, off, AC, circulation, and fan. Down here is the USB input, so you can plug an iPhone in, which I actually didn't end up doing. You've got an aux input, which you don't have to use if you've got a Bluetooth phone, but the quality of the audio will obviously be better. 2 cup holders. In here is the drive stick, so to speak. You go left for neutral, up for reverse, down for drive, and apparently I was just told this today. You go down for drive twice, and you'll go into an eco mode. And apparently, according to the gentleman I just spoke to, who actually has been driving one of these for a couple weeks, and he's kind of an aficionado on EV cars, he says that it doesn't actually change the way the car is powered, but as much as how sort of you react to it, or the pedal reacts to you, you're just more cognizant of it. In the center here, there is a parking brake, an e-brake, which you pull up to engage and down to disengage. Now, he also told me, and I didn't realize this, when you start the car, you don't actually have to turn the e-brake off if it's on. You can just simply switch it into a drive mode, and then it will actually turn off automatically, which is good if you're on a hill. And that's your trunk. And then you also are given a trickle charger. So if you're at home or somebody's house, you use this and you can plug it into a regular 110. It'll convert it up, I believe, to a 220, and you can charge the car. Of course, it will take a long time. Under there should be a spare tire, though I'm not going to get into that. That's the rear of the car, so let's see if I can fit back here. It's actually not bad. I'm almost 6'2", and I'm somewhat comfortable. So, about 2 miles away from dropping off the Nissan Leaf. I'm a little sad, but I just want to give you some final thoughts on what I thought about the car. No doubt is it's zippy. It's a super zippy car, considering what it is. It's just a sedan. It's a boring old sedan looking car at that, or more, well, I should say it's a hatchback, but it's a 4-door. And it fits 5 people comfortably. Has a lot of good amenities. I mean, there's climate control, there's FM, XM, there's CD, aux in, USB input, Bluetooth audio. You can make Bluetooth calls, cruise control. There's a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of features, but at the end of the day, it's an electric car, and that's the most important thing. Without all those things, it would still be an electric car. And I'd still actually get one if I didn't have to drive to places like San Diego. If I knew that there were charging stations every 80 miles. Now, I've been told that's something that's going to happen in the future, but until that happens, they're not going to see these things flying off the shelves, despite the fact they're still in demand. But Nissan isn't turning them out at such a high rate for that very reason, I suppose. I'm still looking forward to driving a hydrogen car, other electric cars. I'd like to drive a Tesla, excuse me, because that's the true comparison, in the sense it's an electric car and it has a limited range. Granted, it's more than this, and I'm very interested in driving the Model S. But anyway, I digress. The point is this is a car that feels like a gas car, but it is smoother, it drives like a luxury car, it handles well. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a little expensive. The range is a little bit short. You get concerned at about 40 miles that you're going to run out, you know, at any time. I did that coming back from Malibu yesterday. But money wasn't an issue, and distance wasn't an issue, which always is, and so is money. I'd probably buy one. They just have to change the outside of it, make it look less like a bubble and more like a luxury car, because it drives like one.